The time is 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Rumesh Peris. First, the headlines. The Provincial Council Members Guild says that the Prime Minister or government should not resign. The Prime Minister emphasizes he will not resign. The opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says he is not prepared to be part of an interim government. Little Gas Company chairman discloses that they had to incur a huge expense to fill a gas cylinder. The bodies of those who died during Saindamardu explosion will be exhumed tomorrow. In news overseas, North Korea vows to step up nuclear weapons program. And in sports, Sri Lanka athletics team will be picked next week. And now the local news in detail. The Provincial Council Members Guild has decided unanimously today that the Cabinet, including Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, should not resign. They met the Prime Minister at the Temple Trees today to discuss present problems in the country. The Prime Minister has pointed out that necessary steps have been taken to provide solutions within a short period of time. The former provincial councillors said that when there were more problems in the country than at present, those were solved when the Prime Minister was the President. They recalled that Prime Minister Rajapaksa came forward to give back the rights of the people which were lost in the past. The assurance given to end terrorism was honoured. The Guild emphasized that a state leader who made sacrifices during such serious times should not resign amid present short-term crisis. The Prime Minister gave an assurance not to resign from his portfolio. The opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says it is better to retire from politics than becoming a part of another drama in an interim government. He said in Kandy today that Samagi Jana Balawegaya or Samagi Alliance will not join to govern. The opposition leader expressed these views after calling over the Mahanayaka of Asgiri chapter, Most Venerable Warakagoda Sri Jnanaratna Thera, before the commencement of a walk from Kandy to Colombo by the party. He said that individuals can decide whether to follow policies of the party. He said that a president has been appointed with a mandate of 6.9 million people. He further said his party is not the United National Party. If there are people who need to change, there is an opportunity. However, he emphasized that all of them have to face a people's court at an election one day. Chairman of Little Gas Company, Vijitha Herat, says that the price of gas has to be increased with the permission of the government. He said that the price has to be calculated according to the cost to continuously supply gas. The company has saved 14 billion rupees by March last year. However, he disclosed that the company has spent 14 billion rupees by now and in debt for 10 billion rupees for the banks. The loss for last year was 24,000 million rupees. He emphasized that it was not due to fraud or corruption but a problem related to prices in the world market. He said that the company spends 4,600 rupees to fill a gas cylinder. The cost comes nearly to 5,500 rupees when a cylinder is distributed through a network of distributors. He said that a cylinder of gas is sold at present for 2,500 rupees. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with more local news. Kalmune Magistrates Court has granted permission to exhume the remains of those who were killed in the 2019 bomb explosion in Saindamardu for re-examination of DNA. Accordingly, the remains buried at the Ampara cemetery will be unearthed tomorrow morning. By re-examining the DNA, the investigators intend to find out whether the remains of Pulastani Mahendran, alias Sarah Jasmine, are among those who died inside the Saindamardu safe house. Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said there is no decision has been made as yet to increase the electricity bill. The minister said in a Twitter message that proposed tariff revisions by Electricity Board have been approved by the Public Utilities Commission, which is not for the first time. He added Cabinet has the authority to implement, revise or reject the proposal. Media Minister Dr. Nalaka Godaheva says that the government has no necessity to hide information about the Easter Sunday attack. During the Cabinet press briefing today, he said that the Defence Secretary has given information properly about the attack to courts and media. Former Customs Director Parakrama Basnayaka says that the country can complete paying debts between 30 and 35 years if discussions between the Finance Minister and the IMF are successful. He pointed out that several countries, including India, have come forward to help Sri Lanka. He further said that Russia will also lend its assistance in the future. It has been disclosed that a conspiracy has been implemented recently to intentionally embarrass the government by not disclosing revenue received for the goods exported by many companies. It is a question whether more than $1 billion that should be received by the country monthly have been received by the country during the past 1 year. Many companies have deposited the dollars they received in the banks for foreign countries. On many occasions, export companies have taken steps to import raw materials of other entrepreneurs through those banks itself. When the raw material is received, payments have been made in rupees for the company which spent dollars. Apart from the dollars, the country has not received pounds, yen and Indian rupees. It has not been monitored whether the monthly amount was received by the country after a company exported goods. In other countries, the next export opportunity is provided when the relevant cash is deposited in a local bank. If the real value is received by the country for monthly exports, it is sufficient to maintain functions of the country. And that concludes local news. And now we move on to the main news story. A senior International Monetary Fund official said today Sri Lanka must tighten monetary policies, raise tax and adopt flexible exchange rates to address its debt crisis. Acting Director of the IMF's Asia and Pacific Department, Anne-Marie Goldwolf, said the requirement for fund lending will be progress towards debt sustainability, calling on Sri Lanka for measures to increase tax revenues to address critical spending needs. She said monetary policy has to be tightened to keep inflation in check, and they see a need for flexible exchange rates. And that was the main news story. Moving on to Watch Night, the Education Ministry said schools-based cut-off marks of the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination 2021 will be issued by the first week of next month. Based on the cut-off marks, the students who pass the scholarship examination can apply for admission to popular schools. And that came to you in Watch Night. A bulletin of world news is next.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
First, the headlines of the world news. North Korea vows to step up nuclear weapons program. Japanese government decides directly to provide aid to war victims in Ukraine. And police release footage from set of Rust shooting. And now the world news in detail. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made a defiant speech at a military parade on Monday night, vowing to ramp up the country's nuclear arsenal. The parade, to mark the armed forces' founding anniversary, also displayed banned intercontinental ballistic missiles. In March, North Korea tested its largest known ICBM for the first time since 2017. The Japanese government has decided to directly provide food aid to war victims in Ukraine. Many local people are struggling to get enough to eat as the conflict rages with Russia, and food shortages in the east of the country have become serious. Japan's Agriculture and Fisheries Ministry has decided to ship the emergency food supplies after receiving a request last month from Ukraine. Police have released footage from the set of the film Rust, including of the aftermath of the fatal shooting of the cinematographer by actor Alec Baldwin. Santa Fe Sheriff Aiden Mendoza also released crime scene photos and witness interviews, including Mr. Baldwin's. But police said the decision on whether to file criminal charges will depend on the outcome of future forensic work. Back to the headlines of the world news. North Korea vows to step up nuclear weapons program. Japanese government decides directly to provide aid to war victims in Ukraine. And police release footage from set of Rust shooting. And that concludes World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on to development news, Highways Minister Kanaka Herath said steps have been taken to expedite the construction of the Port Access Elevated Highway and other priority road projects across the country. Minister Herath advised that the director in charge of the project to accelerate laying of underground water pipelines, constructing drainages and placing the electrical and telecommunication lines along the highway. And that was development news.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Moving on to sports, first it's athletics. Chairman of the National Athletics Selection Committee, Vimalasena Pereira, said Sri Lanka athletic team will take part in the Asian Games and the Commonwealth Games will be finalised in the next week. The National Centenary Athletic Championships concluded last Saturday at the Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium in Diagama, and that was the final selection trial for forthcoming Asian Games as well as the Commonwealth Games. In other sports news, it's golf. A record-breaking 290,000 fans are set to attend the 150th Open Championship at St Andrews between 10th and 17th of July. There were more than 1.3 million ticket applications, which was led to the highest ever number of general admission tickets. Approximately 52,000 will attend each day of the championship, with 80,000 across the 4 practice days. The previous highest attendance was 239,000 when Tiger Woods triumphed at St Andrews in 2000. And that was
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, United Tractor and Equipment Private Limited celebrated 75 years of industry excellence recently, continuously delivering the highest quality engineering solutions and unmatched service support for Sri Lanka. Helping to build the nation, UTE has been a trusted partner for infrastructure development in Sri Lanka. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
In economic news, the International Monetary Fund says that the global economic recovery will slow significantly this year due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The IMF not only downgraded growth prospects in Eastern European countries, but warned that countries around the world will be affected by the disruption to commodities markets as a result of the war. And that was economic news. The weather report is next. And moving on to the weather report, the Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur in the western, central, Sabaragamuwa, southern, Uva and northwestern provinces during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters can occur at several places in the western, central and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Galle and Matara districts. Showers may occur at several places in the coastal areas of western and southern provinces during the morning. And that was the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, a recap of the main news headlines. The Provincial Council Members Guild says that the Prime Minister or government should not resign. The Prime Minister emphasizes he will not resign. The opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says he is not prepared to be part of an interim government. Litro Gas Company Chairman discloses that they had to incur a huge expense to fill a gas cylinder. The bodies of those who died during Saindamarthu explosion will be exhumed tomorrow. And news overseas, North Korea vows to step up nuclear weapons program. And in sports, Sri Lanka athletic team will be picked next week. And with that, we conclude this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.